Okay, so what I want to go over today is a little bit of rhetoric, a little bit of defensive magic, and I think a little bit of a good time coming out of my area of the world. But let's start someplace important. Hungry? Yeah. Let's see if I can make that better or worse.
When you freeze something,
it's for later.
But how much later?
There's no way to be sure!
But Wendys is sure that if you want a juicy, delicious hamburger right now, it should be made with fresh, never frozen beef, unlike some other guys. So that's what's in every single hamburger Wendys serves, and the doubles and the triples, because at Wendys, fresh never gets old.
Okay. Anyone hungrier? Hamburgers sounding oddly good right now? A little bit? So, why do we think that is? What is it that they're doing? Well, it is a smart use of visual and verbal rhetoric. It is very strategic. Take it from somebody who both studies rhetoric professionally and has worked in Fortune 500 companies along with marketing departments. It's incredibly strategic and it's very specifically designed to have an effect on you. And I will be totally honest now, full disclosure, after I was working on this, I totally went to Wendys. So knowing about it is not a full defense, but it's very helpful. So, let me roll this back and explain a little bit of why I'm talking about rhetoric and where I'm coming from. Some of you may have had rhetoric in other areas, or some of you may not know what it is. We'll get there. There's four main areas in what we do in English. First, we've got literature, and that is working with, I would generally term them creative texts. Those are sometimes not necessarily written. For example, we do film studies. I teach it because it is a textual analysis. Creative writing, which is teaching you to write primarily as a source of expression, primarily with creative content, not necessarily made up. You can do creative writing that is memoir, but it's still, you're creating artistically, is the way I'd put it. Composition, study and practice of writing with a focus on everyday genres and clear communication. So who in here is currently in 1010, English 1010, the real one? Who in here is currently in English 1020? Okay. So you guys know something about this. Who's gotten through those classes already? Okay, there we go. So that's a lot of what we do in English. And that's a big part of what I do as well. But rhetoric is the other portion. However, I can kind of nail these with a sentence. Rhetoric is tougher. So what is it? Well, if we go back to the Romans and the Greeks, they have different takes on it. Quintilian said, a good person speaking well. Note the bit in brackets, that's my change, because he originally said a good man speaking well, and, well, yeah, no. Aristotle, the ability in each particular case to see the available means of persuasion. You often hear rhetoric talked about as persuasion purely because of Aristotle, and it's not a bad reason. A few other ones associated with deliberative action, planned, adapted to an audience, shaped by human motives, responsive to a situation, persuasion seeking, concerned with contingent issues. Yeah, okay, who got through that last sentence and actually had a clue what it was talking about? You're honest people, and I praise you for it. All right, so here is my favorite definition. It's a lot more simple than any of those led on. Rhetorical triangle. So what rhetoric is the understanding, in simple terms, of that relationship between the speaker, the message, and the audience. Now that relationship shifts and changes. It can be different in different situations. It can be different from moment to moment. But that's your basic breakdown of what this means. Okay? So, now that we know what it is, how can it help us? Why do we care? Well, now that we've tapped into rhetoric and its power, you can look at rhetorical analysis, the skill of deliberately analyzing that rhetorical content. And developing this skill can lead to huge gains in critical thinking, helping you think through the material that you're confronted with. Now, granted, this applies to political speeches. This applies to readings that you're doing in classes, but it also applies to ads. And this is where I was kind of pulling in the defense against the dark arts comparison. And yes, if anyone noticed, Ravenclaw, thank you very much. Defense against the dark arts, if we remember in Harry Potter, they learned a little bit about it to block against it. I think that parallel only goes so far. Rhetoric in and of itself is not a dark art, but it can be used in dark ways. On a very grand scale, it's what got Hitler going. On a very day-to-day scale, it's what talks you into spending money you don't have to buy things you don't need. If you understand it, this will help you kind of fight back against that push on you on the everyday. Make sense? Any questions thus far? With me? Okay. So, how do we start? Now, this is from Colorado State University. It's a really excellent breakdown of what you should be looking at. With a great acronym, REALM. Reader, essay, author, limitations, motivation. Or, if we're putting it in terms of a video, viewer. And keep in mind, the viewer isn't just, whoever watches it. When they make ads, they tailor them to talk to a very specific audience. They are figuring who their ideal viewer is. Essay, think the ad itself. Author, think the company. Yes, we know realistically that ad agencies are making these ads for people, but they're speaking on their behalf. So when they're speaking as Wendys, Taco Bell, Sears, whoever it is. And then limitations and motivation. What's a limitation?
Something that restricts us?
Something that restricts us, absolutely. What kind of restrictions do ads have on them? Time. Time is money. Ads are expensive. What else? Yes? They can't go in and just straight up lie. That like, buying and eating this burger will make you grow wings. They can't say that. We know it's not true. What else? What are you thinking, Sela? Yeah. You were moving in that direction. Okay.
I was just trying to.
Fair enough. So, someone else. What other limitations do ads have on them? Yes.
Language and sexual ads.
Yes, they cannot roll in and use 57 F-bombs and then show an orgy during prime time. It might sell a product, it might not, but they can't do it. Definitely. Also with language and content, can you make an ad that says, the other company sucks? They're terrible, don't buy from them, all their meat is rotten, all their meat is too frozen, they're gross, they have roaches. You can apply a lot of things, but if you start saying that, you start opening yourself up to legal action. Right? You can't just out and out say that about the other guy. Yes?
What about GoDaddy.com and their commercials?
Some people do get away with it, I know. GoDaddy is a case that they have talked some smack. There are other companies that get away with it, but I will guarantee you there's a team of lawyers combing over that before they release it, figuring out exactly how close to the line they can get. And if they're going over it, they already have an idea that they're going to get sued and it's going to be good publicity. That would be my bet. Yeah.
Would it fall under limitations what they're advertising in? Like if they're advertising on Disney Channel, they're obviously going to have to go and market that audience. So they would have to have limitations on the content as well.
Absolutely. If you are advertising in the Disney Channel, you're going to have very different stuff than NBC, late night. So that is absolutely a limitation. Okay, and then motivation. What motivations do they have? Yes. Money, selling the product. These are the primary motivations. And it is so easy to forget that these are the primary motivations. When you see a really funny ad and you're laughing and you're sharing it with friends and you think it's really cute, don't forget that ad is there to sell you something. Making you laugh, that's a cool bonus. But they're making you laugh in order to make you buy. Okay. So, here's some types of questions that we can dig into. Notice, some of these are going to be a little more leaning for text, some of these are a little more leaning for an ad. But these are the types of questions we can ask about each of the sections of realm. So, note, when they're talking about the probable readers, they mean that in a very specific and targeted way, again. I think we often miss this. So, I drive a Honda Element. And anyone know the boxy looking? I like it. But when they released that car, they were targeting a specific market, specific readers, if you will. To say that I wasn't in it is beyond a stretch. And here's how specific it got. They were targeting males, particularly white, particularly college educated, who had graduated college but not yet gotten a quote-unquote real job, a career type job, and were between the ages of, I want to say, like 21 and 24. That's the target readers or buyers for a car. But they're like, these are the people that will buy it. They're targeting ads at least that much, if not more. They are targeting very specifically based on all the details about you. What features of the text? There are some ads where music is really important, and then there are some ads where it doesn't matter. It's something you want to pay attention to. And what do you know about this author? For instance, what do you know about Wendys that might tie to that ad? Anything? Anyone hear about any controversy recently? Or anything going down on Twitter? Well, McDonald's tweeted something earlier this year, very proudly announcing that soon all of the meat in their restaurants would be served fresh, never frozen. And Wendys, whoever runs their social media, got on Twitter and posted back, wait, so does that mean it's all frozen now? Asking for a friend. And they just kind of went, and this ad campaign came out. So knowing that, again, you have a hard time coming out and saying, by the way, this company sucks, they're trying to do that as close as they can with McDonald's in this ad. That is who they're talking about. So knowing those specific details about your author, they're important. So let's watch this again.
When you freeze something,
It's for later.
but how much later?
There's no way to be sure!
But Wendy's is sure that if you want a juicy, delicious hamburger right now, it should be made with fresh, never frozen beef, unlike some other guys. So that's what's in every single hamburger Wendy's serves, and the doubles and the triples, because at Wendy's, fresh never gets old.
So, what'd you notice now? Thinking about those issues, thinking about realm. So who's the reader? Who's the viewer? Us? Maybe. What do you mean by us?
Well, we're the ones who are watching the abstract. They're trying to persuade us into buying like their truth.
We're literally the ones who are watching. Who's their target market? Who do they want to be watching it? Yeah.
People who think they're prestigious enough enough to not put away their food for later.
Yes. There's a certain level, I mean, they're not selling you on like, you've never eaten fast food before, give us a try. But there is a certain level of, we're above leftovers. Absolutely. What else? Who else are we talking to? Who else are we targeting? Yeah. People who eat at McDonald's. This is taking a really deliberate shot at them. I mean, like, right across the bows. Okay. What did you notice about the ad itself? What was interesting? Yes?
The people were in their like 20s, like 30s. At the end, it was a black female that opened the bag.
It was really,
Diversity.
yeah, they're going for diversity. They want diversity, but they want diversity in race. They don't necessarily look for it in age, in body type, in attractiveness. You guys ever notice how there's like ugly and then TV ugly? Like somebody is supposed to be a real woofer on TV and you're like, that is not an unattractive person. These are attractive people. These are people within a certain desirable age group. There's a lot of marketing aimed at 20s and 30s. What else did you notice?
The freezer that they had, or the cooler, looked like it was like a bakery or like a meat shop.
Looked like a meat shop. Anyone notice color of logo on the door?
Yellow.
Yup. Again, they can't quite say McDonald's sucks, but they're really trying. I mean, really putting in the effort. So that cooler, it looks like a meat shop, but it also looks really unappealing, right? Did you guys notice what color it was? Gray. You saw a lot of grays. You saw a lot of blues. Do those colors make you excited? Do those colors make you hungry? Do you see a lot of gray things and think, I will eat that now? No, I hope not. So they are trying to set you up with associations. But here, where they've got Wendys, ooh, look at the colors. It's bouncing off the page. Okay, did you guys have a question or? Okay, so the author, what do we know about them? What do we know about Wendys? Yeah.
They don't like McDonald's.
They don't like McDonald's, for sure. McDonald's is direct competition. What else?
They have a very, like, the shape of their, that they take a lot of pride in just, like, reinforcing how important and individualistic their shape of burger is. Like, you gotta eat our burgers because we're square.
We're different.
So set apart.
It's supposed to, it fills the whole bun. It is kind of the idea of the square. Is what they're trying to sell.
It's actually another ad type thing. They don't cut corners.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we know they want to be the quality fast food chain. What else? What else do we know about them? I'm sorry?
They serve never frozen beef.
They serve never frozen beef. We know that now. By gum. I would say other things that are important to think about with Wendys, they do try to set themselves apart as the more quality fast food chain, but they're still a fast food chain. I mean, nobody's going to go in and be like, this is not fast food. We know what's going on. Okay. So, limitations. What are the limitations here? Time. You've only got 30 seconds. They charge by the second here, people. So how can you pack it in there? Yeah. Money. If they were to say hire 50 celebrities and a Rockettes kick line, that costs money. Would it be worth it? Okay, what else? Yeah.
They have a lot of fast-paced screen, like jump cuts. So like it's not necessarily how long they spend on the thing. They just want to impound an image inside of your mind that sticks.
And they know that they have to do that. That's the way ads work. That you could turn away from it at any moment. Yeah.
They don't say their competitor's name.
Yes, limitations. You can, again, the ploy that some other companies do, it's a risky one, directly calling out a competitor.
They didn't say their name, but like they got pretty close to the line.
Uh-huh. And here, they know who they're calling out. And they want you to put it together, but they don't want to get close enough to be suable.
But yet again, as like a general person, I don't, what was it posted on?
Twitter?
Twitter? I don't check Twitter. I don't know about Twitter. I would have not seen this commercial as like a comparison. So like the general customer probably doesn't see it as that either.
Well, that's a really good point, that their primary target might be people who were in on that entire social media thing, but they still want it to work for other people. Did it work for you?
Yeah.
Even not knowing about it, you're just like, cool, burger, now. So it works for you.
Well, and it appeals to people if they want to be healthy.
Well, yeah, because fresh is more healthy than frozen. Now, never mind, it could be like fresh lard versus frozen kale. Fresh sounds healthier.
Also, they had the visual of a closed door, and someone behind a closed door in a back room. It's like, completely obscured. And then you've got the other one that's out in the open. We've got glass. We've got a presentation.
Absolutely.
And it was like freezing cold. Most people, I hate the cold.
Sound effects too.
Sound effects too. Absolutely. They set up, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person at the other chain, or do you want to be the person with us? Absolutely. Motivation. What do they want to do here?
Sell hamburgers.
Sell hamburgers. Also, simultaneously, thumb their nose at McDonald's. It's a good life if you can do both at once. Okay. So, let's move on to the next step. That's the basics. This is the next level up. This is what we refer to as artistic proofs. That your use of them is artistic, you're making decisions, you are being creative in what you do. It's not just the facts of the situation. So, ethos, pathos, logos. Pathos sounds a little like pathetic. It's not, but it's any emotion. Happiness, sadness, anger, whatever it is. Ethos. We hear that and we think ethical. Not quite. Really, the best thing to think of there is credibility. Who do you want someone to see you as? Easiest way to explain ethos. Think about the papers you turn in class. Have you ever turned in a paper written in crayon on toilet paper? No? I mean, you could do that. You know, you walk in a stall and you could bundle up some for free. Crayons are cheap. Why don't you do that? I'm sorry? It wouldn't look professional. It would not give you the appearance of being a credible writer. Absolutely. Logos, logic, reasoning or argumentation. Another thing that logos can also be related to is logos or logic of arrangement. What thing do you put next to another thing? For instance, putting that burger on a red background as opposed to a blue one. So, these are the next thing to figure in. Ethos, pathos, logos. Got another ad. Yay! I thought you said that.
I'm striding up to the kitchen, whipping up to a rhythm, and the mission is cooking up something that we've been missing. Listen, you hear that sizzling, a whiff of what's in the mix. I'm fixing has got us grinning while we're licking our lips like yum yum yum. We can boogie yum yum yum, and we'll be cooking all night. What's that? Oh, you want some more? Wondering what we got in store? With a veg on the chopping board, so fresh it'll make you drop your jaw. And there's lots, of course. Whatever you want is yours. Casserole in the pot that'll make you body pop and lock for sure. Yum, yum, yum. Sing it to me now. Yum, yum, yum. Once you hear that timer and everything has been prepared, wiggle for me, then throw them oven mitts up in the air. Whatever kitchen you fit in, whatever is on your shelf. If you dance while you're cooking, you know you're living well. Sing it. Yum, yum, yum. Sing it to me now. And we'll be cooking all night.
Okay. So, what's that mad for? Yum, yum, yum? Sainsbury's, food. I saw a hand. Yes. Close. I'm sorry?
Shop and cook at home.
Shop and cook at home. It is an ad to try to get you to shop and cook at home. So what's the establishment putting it on?
A grocery store?
Grocery store. So this is a popular grocery store chain in the UK, Sainsbury's. And they are known for doing creative ads. This one, and they actually have an extended version of it with even more dancing with food. It gets kind of amazing. But this is meant to get you excited about cooking at home. Now, what do you see here insofar as pathos, insofar as emotion? Happy.
Yeah, like I was gonna say along the lines of being happy, it makes you like want to like get up and dance and just want to enjoy like eating.
It makes you want to get up and dance. It makes you want to enjoy eating. It makes you want to have that much fun with food. I mean, I don't do that in my kitchen when I'm dancing or when I'm cooking. I don't do that kind of dancing, and I'm thinking like I should, and there's something wrong. Maybe if I shopped at Sainsbury's, I would. What else do you notice insofar as emotions?
It's black and white, like a home video.
That's a really good one. It's black and white like a home video, except for where? When you're showing the food, suddenly full color. Food has to be full color. Food has to be bright and exciting.
We also showed the grocery bags as a different color.
So you see a lot of bright and exciting colors in this when they're showing the colors. And yes, they did pick out the grocery bags so you would see them. It's more subtle if you're not as familiar with the chain, but you see them there.
Incredible diversity. I think they hit everything.
Yes.
Like everything.
And they're really...
Means that,
Oh, sorry?
like everyone that like you could be old, you could be young,
Mhm.
you could be disabled, you can be completely fine.
Mhm.
Anyone can have this. It's affordable for everyone.
This is within reach for everybody. This is reaching out to everyone. And it also, having that kind of diversity really makes you feel like you're not being excluded. Whoever you are, you saw somebody there that in some way could be reminiscent of you. So it says a lot about them. So, okay, we've got a lot of different emotions. What about the logic? I mean, we don't really see a coherent argument in much of this, right? But we do see, remember that logic of arrangement. I'm sorry? Okay. You do see those grocery bags popping out in color in the black and white. You do see the color food in between the black and white segments. You do see the logic of arrangement that they go back and forth between people. Okay, well, yes?
Something that I thought wasn't very logical was Sainsbury's. The only time we ever saw it was at the very end for like a second. And so like when you would ask a question, who knows what that ad was for? A lot of us were like,
Oh.
Like I looked at the top and it was like Sainsbury's ad, Sainsbury's, you know.
But-
So they didn't really, they advertised, but I didn't know if it was for them or for what, you know.
On
Okay.
the same respect, though, you have to pay more attention to the commercial. You're not just kind of, oh, it's Wendys, whatever. You have to, you're like, what is this? And you are focused on it because you have to answer your own questions, so it forces you to pay more attention.
Absolutely. We've all had that moment with a commercial.
And we're not the target audience, it's a UK grocery store.
That's part of it as well, although you're totally right. Could this have hit Sainsbury's harder? For sure. There are a few things, and I deliberately pick things that wouldn't be, most people in here wouldn't be the audience. If you were, I believe the colors of the text are what they use on the bags. So there's the color identification. But Sainsbury's is a big enough store. Hitting really loudly that it's them, only somewhat necessary. And that's part of it too. If you're a tiny company, you can't get away with that. If you're McDonald's, could you get away with just putting like the arches and people figure it out? Yeah, in the US. This is kind of like that. But these are also good points. We like ads that don't hit us over the head. We're more interested. We're paying more attention because we want to figure it out. And, as opposed to them going, Sainsbury's, yay! We have dancing people and it's funny. Yeah.
Well, you were talking about sequencing, and it showed the chicken like about halfway through that was like cooked, and then they're all cooking, and then at the end it showed it being cut apart and eaten, which is logical. You cook it and then you eat it.
Uh-huh.
And it was a beautiful chicken, and instead of showing like what those people actually ended up with, like after dancing, their food might have sucked. But it like showed a chicken. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and who actually thinks that the food on here was that cooked by the people while dancing? Okay, good. Obviously, this is done by food stylists. It's going to look gorgeous. You know, does your food look like that after cooking as a private individual, particularly if you're busting a move in your kitchen? Probably not. But they're going to present you the idealized version. Absolutely. So notice also that they're doing something, well, okay. What do you think of them ethos-wise as a company after seeing this? Yeah. They're happy. This is a happy place. I'm going to go in here and it's going to be upbeat. What else?
They mentioned healthy eating.
They mention healthy eating. This is a place to go if you want to be healthy. And they care about that. What else? Heard a voice. Not sure who it was.
That was me. I was just gonna say the chicken looks beautiful, so it's gonna make you think they sell good food.
Mm-hmm. That looks like high quality stuff. Notice all the produce they show. It all looks very fresh. It looks like it's just in beautiful condition. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to go there and get something terrible. Absolutely. Now this isn't an ad that plays on ethos as a heavy element to sell you, but it's there. Let me hit you with one last one that does use ethos. I like this one particularly.
She said, "You have big hair. You've got to do something about it."
I grew up thinking that I couldn't be blonde because Asians just didn't do that.
I've been criticized for straightening my hair, as if straightening it means that I don't embrace who I am.
A friend once told me if I put color back on my hair, it would make me look better.
Express yourself.
Stop saying that gray hair is not beautiful. Because it is. It is beautiful.
A lot of people say that curly hair isn't professional. I don't buy that for a second.
Express yourself.
When I tell people I'm a financial analyst, they're very surprised.
Express yourself. Express yourself. Whatever you do, whatever you do. It's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing when you're doing. When you look like what you're doing, express yourself.
Okay. Shocked to hear that I really like that one. But what are we doing with ethos in this ad? What do you think of Dove as a company after watching this?
They're empowering women.
They're empowering women. They care about women. They want women to be individual, right? So why is that an ad then? If they're trying to sell you something, why are they making that choice?
To help you be individual. To sell hair product to women.
To sell hair product to women, but if you buy their hair product, it'll help you be an individual. This is a dovetailing of kind of that ethos, credibility, and selling. Yeah.
As well as like when a person watches that ad, they're like, oh yeah, I believe in that too. So like, you go to the store and you buy Dove, you're saying you support what they're doing. Like it might not even be about the hair. Like it might not even be about anything like other than something ethical.
Exactly.
Supporting a movement.
Exactly. We're voting with our dollar. Now, do they show any product specifically in there? No. We have no idea, but whatever Dove makes, we know they're doing it with an agenda of empowering women, and we know that we want to show up at the store and use our dollars to show that we are down with that, and we are listening, and we like the message and the movement. Now that said, and I don't want to be a horribly cynical human being, how much do we know about what they're genuinely doing to empower women? Are they doing things, are they doing workshops to help underprivileged women learn how to do their hair? Are they donating massive amounts of money to causes? Not that we know about from here, although they very well may be, and I think they actually are. But do they show us that? No, they just kind of go, wow, I feel empowered and I feel good and I want to spend money. This is the kind of stuff, and I mean, it can be great. And I'm not saying don't buy from this company. And I'm not saying I'm not down with this mission, because hello. But being aware of what they're doing to convince you and thinking through it is one of the most important tools you can have. Also, what the heck? This one is just bizarre enough that I have to. So, here's one other that's getting a completely different reaction. Although you could argue that's empowering, depending on where you're coming from. So, what's the overall message there?
It doesn't matter if we're good at fixing things, as long as we're having fun, come buy our stuff and fix stuff.
Yes. Regret nothing. Try it. If you fail magnificently, that's okay too. Like, after watching this, do you feel like you could be Homer Simpson and walk in there and they'd just be like, cool, let's do this? Yes, they'd be there to support you. That's what this company is selling. Now, obviously, they're going for some emotional reactions, as we heard from people. Like, I heard and saw some of the reactions of like, it's falling. Am I supposed to be upset? Or am I laughing? How am I feeling about this? And the guy pops up laughing, and people are like all laughing here. It's getting emotional responses. Do those emotional responses have anything to do with what's in the store? Do we know for sure exactly what the average porn box has in their store? No, we don't. But we know that they've sold us on a certain attitude, which in its own weird way is almost as empowering as that Dove one, where it's like, you can be a total klutz and shop with us.
Well,
Regret nothing. Yeah.
The audience is do-it-yourselfers.
Mm-hmm. So if you've tried a do-it-yourself project, if you've tried making something, you know that, you will sometimes fail spectacularly. And these guys make you feel like that's okay.
I like how it's like, is it okay to laugh? The kid's crying right now.
Yeah.
But like he comes up and he's laughing and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's good to laugh.
Yeah, and I can hear some of the with people of like, do I laugh? Do I not? This kid's crying. Oh my God, are they about to bring the father's body out? What is this ad even doing? And getting that kind of emotionally shocked response. You're going to remember that. Now, does that mean this store sells great things and has great customer service and is generally a wonderful place? I have no idea. But they're thinking very strategically about what they want you to feel, what they want you to notice, and how they want you to feel about them. So if you're a German do-it-yourselfer, or you're trying a home improvement project that you think you might screw up, after doing that, are you going to that place? after seeing this? Quite possibly.
Well, and parents, it's applying to parents.
How so?
Because it's a little kid watching his dad build something, building something with your kids.
Little kids, young ones of any species, to extend the Harry Potter reference, they're like the Avada Kedavra of advertising. If you put a baby, anything, human, puppy, kitty, whatever, and it's in there, immediately we want to respond. We want to make eye contact. We want to look at this and emote and feel connected. Some of the most gory meetings that I ever saw at one of the places I worked, they did calendars, and they would do things like cute puppy and kitty calendars, and fighting over which cute puppy or kitty went on the front, and exactly where that puppy or kitty was placed to get maximum eye contact. Because as long as that made eye contact, sales went up a certain amount. Even though we know it's a picture on a page, there's nothing there really making contact with us, we feel like there is. So we have that kind of moment of connection with the boy.
When you want to protect him, you're like, oh my gosh, poor thing, just watched his dad get murdered.
Mhm.
Right away.
And then his dad springs up and you're kind of like, that kid's going to remember it forever. That's going to be a great parenting moment. The time dad removed the splinter from the side of his nose. Absolutely. So, anything else about that ad? It's kind of an off-the-wall one, but that's why I wanted to bring it in here. Yeah.
The setting was like surrounded by your gorgeous Alps. Like you weren't in your neighborhood. You weren't in Germans wear pretty dark clothing. They don't smile. They're not happy. I
have a very good German friend, so I'm laughing. But anyway.
But it was just this luxurious. You're whisked into the Heidi kind of idea.
And people who like outdoors.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this is almost a fantasy setting. If this is in a residential neighborhood, does this feel different? Yeah, because you're going, oh my God, there are people walking by. Yeah, because call 911. Someone got hit by shrapnel. There's going to be a lawsuit. He's out here in this deserted mountain, and it's all beautiful and idyllic. And where is this kid riding a bicycle from, anyway, up there? No one thought of that. But, yeah. So, with all of that said, this is stuff to think about when you're dealing with these so-called dark arts of advertising. How are they persuading you? It's okay if they do, but are you thinking through it? Are you a critical consumer of their message? And are you paying attention to the rhetorical tricks they're using? Rhetoric in and of itself is not good or bad, but you can do good and bad things with it. And that's why knowing some of it is both entertaining to sit here and make fun of ads and pick them apart, but also to help you make better decisions as a consumer and as a person. So, any questions? Either about rhetoric, about English, about anything I'm going into here.
Do they put a lot of scientific, research into a lot of this? So if in one ad they're showing a sense of, happiness, fear, anxiety, pain, confusion. I was super confused. But all of those things are going to, connect brain waves or whatever you want to call it, and is going to be more beneficial. If you put a kitty or a baby on a thing, a person's natural instinct is to protect the baby. So those are natural instincts that they're then putting into the advertising. Is that something that they take a lot of consideration?
There is some research of these things out there. It's not as common for people in the ad industry themselves, although they do research it insofar as doing focus groups and testing ads and things like that. But as those sorts of brain mapping technologies become more and more common, I believe this is something that people have done and will continue to do more academic research on, like exactly what is lighting up when we do those things. Good question. Yes?
When you guys look at that picture, what is the first thing you see?
Bud Light.
Times Square.
Bud Light, Times Square, well, yes, in a general sense. What else do other people see?
Yeah.
Walgreens.
Like the first thing you see.
But it seems like everybody's seeing a different thing. This is almost like a personality test.
No, it's because this picture is divided into thirds.
Ah, yes.
And your eye will go for the thirds as well as the diagonals that point toward it.
But look at everything that's in that center.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. Did anybody say NASDAQ? Did anybody say Sprint? No. But there's a whole lot of information here, which, if people haven't been to Times Square, is kind of how it feels, where you're just looking around and it's information overload with images and flashing. You know, it's like the rhetoric equivalent of people standing there shouting at you. So, any questions? All right, if anything occurs to you later, let me know. It's a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you very much.